it makes me trust you less, because it makes me feel like you don't have your priorities straight.
So I've been of two minds of stitching anyone into this weird little info dump conversation I've been having on my page. Hi, Reverend Pop-Up, I love your stuff. But I really need you guys to watch this video. And I really need you guys to go and watch the video attached to the comment he's talking to. Because on the small scale, they're talking about a Black woman politician who is getting called out for the language that she's using against the governor of Texas. On the large scale, they're having a conversation about priorities, about why so many online leftists are so focused on words and saying the right thing and being morally correct. And if you've been on my page for any length of time, you probably already know where this is going, because I've been doing a series on the internalized values that whiteness teaches us, and specifically focused on the United States and more focused on people raised in the white women box. But these internalized values, hierarchy, conformity, punishment, we carry these with us into every space we go if we do not unpack them. And then we do shit like this. We build another hierarchy. We don't like the hierarchy of ableism. We don't like ableism. We don't like patriarchy. We don't whatever. But then we go and we try to be anti-ableist, anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist, whatever. And we just build another hierarchy in which the behavior we think is good and morally correct sits at the top, and everyone has to conform to that behavior. And it has nothing to do with what you believe and everything to do with how you structure your community and the world around you. And that is what I'm trying to encourage people to unpack, because this has been happening over and over and over again, longer than I've been watching for sure, but I've been watching for over a decade, over and over and over again, specifically on the left. And it is incredibly damaging to fighting the things that we need to fight and building the coalitions that we need to build. So what you're seeing, my take on it, isn't necessarily that people are getting their feelings hurt. My take on it is that these people who seem to have their priorities whack actually have their priorities exactly where they think they should be, because they've built a hierarchy where this particular behavior is at the top, and because we've been taught as white people that conformity needs to be external, right? They've built this hierarchy that everyone needs to externally conform to, and then they're going to police everyone into externally conforming to it, because that's how whiteness works, both at the small scale and at the large scale. And if we don't unpack that system inside of ourselves, we're just gonna keep doing this shit. And I don't want us to keep doing this shit, because I want us to take care of people and feed people and make coalitions and like build a world where everyone can be fed and safe and respected. So like, that's really very much like why I'm here. And I really encourage you to both watch those videos and then also follow those creators, because they are doing amazing, amazing work. And I just really want us to kind of continue this conversation. So
my FYP is full of white leftists losing their mind over Jasmine Crockett acting like she said a slur. And I looked it up, and she called Greg Abbott Hot Wheels. And I didn't get it at all. And today is when I learned that Greg Abbott is in a wheelchair. And it's like, okay, now I get it. Is calling a person in a wheelchair Hot Wheels ableist? Yeah. Should we be holding our politicians to a standard of not using ableist language? Yeah. But I don't think that's what y'all are doing. I think y'all, as in white leftists, are just using this as an excuse to engage in misogynoir against Jasmine Crockett. Because the last time I checked, Donald Trump was the president of the United States, who says about 50 million horrendous things every fucking second, right? He's a person who actually says ableist things. He's a person that actually uses slurs. He's a person that advocates for eugenics and for hurting people all the fucking time. And y'all want to start a discourse outrage cycle about Jasmine Crockett using the term Hot Wheels, which is apparently how anybody who is from Texas refers to Greg Abbott. Y'all's priorities are fucked up. Y'all's priorities are real fucked up. And if you decide to make content slamming Jasmine Crockett for this Hot Wheels line, and you also made Never Kamala Leftist content, you are really just proving to me over and over again that, oh, you have some very deeply embedded misogynoir that you haven't worked out, and it's manifesting through the way that you make political content on this app. Because the problem is, y'all are holding politicians who happen to be black women to this unbelievably high standard, and you are not holding other politicians to that standard. Like, if you have more smoke for the black woman using colorful language and is imperfect than you do have for the genocidal maniac trying to end the world, because again, that's the shit that's happening with Israel. The evangelical Christian fascists, white supremacist Christian fascists, are trying to get all Jewish people into Israel to trigger the second coming of Jesus and Armageddon. That's what it is. That's what Trump is actually after. And if you want to fix your mouth to make video after video about how Jasmine Crockett is ableist for this, like, I just don't fucking trust you. Your priorities are fucked. And look, I know that we can focus on two things at one time. I know that we can deal with the hellscape of Republican politicians and Trump being in office, and also hold our Democratic politicians and officials to a higher standard. We can do both. But y'all really, really need to learn how to fucking prioritize and learn how to pick your goddamn battles.
I've been trying to figure out how to have this fucking discourse for a while now without it becoming completely unhinged. And it may still come unhinged, but I think that I finally found a way to do it, right? Boy, oh boy, I sure do love ruining my own fucking day. Alright, so I want to tell you all two stories. And I promise this will make sense. So here's the first story. A year or so ago, I was out at the Save-A-Lot. You ever been to a Save-A-Lot? Save-A-Lot is the cheap, trashy people grocery store that has the best Mountain Dew substitute I've ever tasted. Now, I am at this grocery store. And if you've ever been to a Save-A-Lot, you know that there is only ever one aisle open, and half the time there ain't nobody up there when you first walk up. And as I am waiting for the cashier to come back from stocking shelves, there is a guy behind me. And he says the words, "I about beat up one of them transgenders the other day." And I, as a transgendered, am sitting there and I'm like, oh shit. And I'm just trying to lay low, get my 3.5 pounds of ground beef, and get the fuck out of there. Now, this man is talking to, I think, probably his wife, his girlfriend, something like that. And she says, "Ralph, you can't talk about them people that way. Ralph, they're just trying to get by like you and me." And the man says, "Rosie, I ain't mad at him for wearing high heels. I'm mad because he stole my catalytic converter. If you steal my catalytic converter, you're getting your ass beat. Male, female, or something else." And at that moment, I breathed a sigh of relief. Also, I never found out who that queen was, but she is iconic. Girls out here stealing catalytic converters in platform heels. Alright, so we got that story. Also, I changed the names. That I don't remember their names in that story. I am paraphrasing. But anyway, so we got that story. I'm going to tell you another one. I had an old boss. And man, oh man, she knew how to be fucking woke, right? She knew all the buzzwords. We had little pronoun circles. She had her little ally pin, you know. This woman thought she was God's #1 gift to the queer community. And if you had talked to her, you may have thought that too. Until one day, I realized this woman was incredibly bad at her job, and that I was going to need to file a report. And boy howdy, when I did that, the gloves came off. Suddenly, she was crying the biggest of white woman tears, telling me how terrifying I was, and listing off every stereotype about trans people and neurodivergent people known to man. Now let me ask you, which of those people do you think I'd rather have my back in all of this? If I had to choose between the two, who would I call up if shit hit the fan? Would it be the woman who knew all the right words? Who knew all the right things to say? Or would it be that couple in the Save-A-Lot, who obviously didn't know shit about trans people, but was, for better or worse, treating us like everyone else? I know who I'd rather have on my side. I don't think a lot of y'all have come to terms with the brave new world we find ourselves in, okay? I made a little joke yesterday about how we don't live in the free marketplace of ideas anymore. We live in the arena. And that was a joke, but also, it's kind of true. And y'all, I need you to fully understand something, okay? We're in some deep shit. At best, we are probably going to be looking at another Great Depression. At worst, a lot of people are gonna fucking die. Or a lot of people are gonna end up in prison. And what the fuck are y'all gonna do when the prison guard calls you the F-slur? Are y'all gonna be like, that is very homophobic? I mean, no, not if you don't want your asshole turned inside out. And I'll be real, those of you who are still out here picking at semantics like this, like y'all are with fucking Jasmine Crockett right now, it does not make me trust you more. It makes me trust you less. Because it makes me feel like you don't have your priorities straight. Y'all are gonna have to stop caring as much what words people say and start caring a whole hell of a lot more about what vibes people are putting down. Because I assure you, like 90% of this country is running on vibes. It no longer matters what arguments you make. It no longer matters how morally or ethically or logically sound you are. We are not in the free marketplace of ideas. We are in the arena. And some of y'all need to start realizing this, or you are not going to survive, and you are going to be a detriment to everyone around you. Because people are not going to put up with that. In real life, activism, they're not going to put up with that. You're going to be seen as a tactless, loose cannon who is going to get everyone killed. A lot of y'all are going to need to learn that the world is a lot more crazy and a lot more nuanced than you thought it was. And that knowing the right words and being decent are very much two different skill sets. You're gonna come across people in this life who do not and may never get it all right, but they are going to have your back. And you're going to find other people in this world who know how to say all the right words. They've memorized the whole damn list and they keep up with it. But when push comes to shove, they will throw you under the bus. As it turns out, knowing all this language is actually kind of a really bad way to determine whether or not someone's a good person. Sometimes it's not that they're wrong, it's just that they're an asshole. And like I said, we exist in the arena now. Y'all are gonna have to start acting like it.